Hello and welcome to Fast Tracks with me, Pete Tong. Musically this week, Mr. Mark Brown is again on the show. He seems to have permanently infiltrated his way into Fast Tracks. Smith and Selway, Heavy Deviance. We're going to be speaking to Adultnapper, and we have a brand new video from Mr. Spring. This is Bootleg. It's made entirely on old analog equipment, in one take apparently as well. And here's the 1970s looking video to go with it, just like they used to do in the old days. That is Bootleg from Mr. Spring. The EP is called Not For Rent. Time now to get into the Bedlam chart. This is this week's number 3. This is King David. He comes from Kent, and the track is called The House Lovers. Number 3 on this week's Bedlam chart. Time now for this week's chat. We're going to introduce you to a man called Francis Harris, aka the Adultnapper. He has just finished making a compilation for Steve Bugg's excellent Audiomatic label, and well, here he is. Meet him.
Hi, I'm Adultnapper, and you're watching Pete Tong's Fast Tracks. Well, I've been actually preparing. Oh, goodness gracious, my chair just broke. I've been actually just got back from a round of gigs, so about 7 weeks worth of shows in April and May, including the Detroit Electronic Music Festival, which was quite amazing this year, and just taking a bit of a break and catching up on some studio commitments before I head off on tour in July, starting with Fabric on July 5th. With some dates in Italy, as well as a date in Ibiza with Danny Tenaglia at Space, and finishing with Panorama Bar at the end of July. How's my hair look?
Yeah.
That's what we're asking, right?
What? Give us a little bit of background on how this all began for you.
Well, thinking of background. Well, let me first say that it didn't start in the womb. It actually started right after birth. We'll start with that. I just I love dance music in the early 2000s, hearing people like Mr. C and Eddie Richards, and I don't know. Ever since then, I guess it's history. I've always been interested in writing music and learning techniques in the studio. Something that's happened in the last 5 years, and I guess working at it every day, you get where you're at. I think the dance music scene is quite interesting in New York because it's, as opposed to a lot of Europe, it's quite underground in the sense that there aren't a lot of established venues that are investing their time and energy into underground music because rents are so high in New York. Oh, well, there our parachute fell. Rents are so high in New York City that the only kind of clubs that can survive here are bottle service clubs that are like serving out obvious commercial hip hop, rock, and dance music. So to own an underground club and to operate an underground club properly, it just takes a lot of effort and a lot of ingenuity. So there's not a lot of venues, but there's plenty of people who are into it. So there's the actual illegal party scene, so to speak, has grown quite a bit, and there's some amazing things happening with even in the clubs with Made Events and Black Market Membership and a few other promoters who are bringing some really interesting people. So I would say that dance music in New York, as it's always been, I mean, it went through its peaks and valleys, it's back up on top, and it's quite amazing to be living here in New York City.
More from Francis Harris in a moment. First though, this week's remix, it is a slamming remix of Mark Brown's New Heights. This is by Smith and Selway. Fantastic remix from Smith and Selway on Mark Brown's New Heights. You can just see everybody in DC-10 and Cocoon going like this now. Bedlam number 2. This is the PSH project from Paul Hunter. He's from Doncaster and the track is called Genie. Bedlam number 2 there. Don't forget, if you're making music at home and you need a break and you think you're worthy enough to get on this show, please send me a download link to the address on the screen now. Time for this week's alternative cut. This lot have been getting a lot of MySpace action. They kind of mix bluesy vocals with tripped out beats and the video is a bit spooky. They are Heavy Deviance and this is the rhythm it hits. Slightly left of centre, but very tasty, Heavy Deviance with the rhythm it hits. Time for this week's upfront tune then. It comes from Patrick M and DJ Wady. The instrumental has been doing the business for a couple of months now. The track is called Hulk, but here it is. Got to get down. That is the Hulk, brand new from Patrick M and DJ Wady. Right, time to get back to Adultnapper.
It's actually quite apropos.
Get me the fuck out.
Yeah. No, but really isn't.
It's a little bit about Audiomatique 2.0.
That's interesting. Well, it's a great honor to be asked to do the Mix CD. I mean, Steve Bugg is definitely one of the people that I look up to the most in dance music. He's probably the best that dance music has to offer as far as a DJ and a selector, and I don't know, he's just a class act. It just you know, he's classic more than a class act. You know, when I think of people in house music and techno that, you know, will like stand the test of time, he's definitely one of those people because of his attitude, his ingenuity, and his you know, commitment to professionalism and what he does. So it was quite nice to be asked to do the Mix CD. It was nerve-wracking because I was going through some a pretty rough spot personally when I was asked to do it, and it was a very strict, shorter period of time that I had to get it done with a very limited palette. When you're doing like a compilation that's limited to tracks from a specific label, you have a very limited palette, but it was quite challenging to kind of make it work and make it sound like Adultnapper. So I used a lot of my own loops and samples and tried to give it the sort of peak time vibe that, or actually more after hours vibe that Adultnapper has. And I think it's a quite moving and emotional mix, and it's a representative of the kind of emotions I was going through when I was making it, and hopefully the audience will feel the same way. There's actually 3 exclusive classes, 1 remix and a couple of my own tracks on the release that I made exclusively for the mix. I also have an upcoming release on Number that's out in July with a remix by Animat 3000, which I'm quite proud of. It's different territory for me. I also have a remix coming on a new label out of Manchester called Bombus. Dave Brennan from N Recordings has re-released one of his tracks called Drink Deep, and I've done a very deep remix, and Mr. G has done a house remix of it, which is quite interesting. I also have a Clink, an EP on Clink, which is Berlin-based label, 3-track EP called Sisyphus. It's actually called Bar Keys, but the lead track is called Sisyphus, so it's coming out, I believe, in September. And then in October will be my next Automatique single that will have a Gregor Trescher remix. One of the tracks from the CD that wasn't released, called Madeline, which is actually one of my personal favorites, plus another track called One Room will be released on Automatique with a Gregor Trescher remix. And then I have an EP with Homar Philipson coming on Ransom Note with Recliner and Panic Shuffle remixes on Ransom Note. So there's quite a few things in the pipeline. I should say don't ask what's in the briefcase.
For all other details regarding Adultnapper, you can look me up on MySpace. I think it's something like MySpace Adultnapper. I mean, who the hell knows?
It was a piece of cake, because it really wasn't.
Many thanks to Adultnapper for dropping into fasttracks.tv and getting familiar with us. Time now for this week's Bedroom Bedlam #1. Here's Danetti. He's been making music since 2000, and this track is called You Funky Bitch. Head over to Beatport after the show to download the new Bedroom Bedlam EP. The address is on the screen now. #1 on this week's Bedroom Bedlam chart. Congratulations. If you'd like to hear that in full, you can go to fasttracks.tv now, and we are streaming it for free. Whilst you're there, you'll see the nominees for next week's chart, and you can now place your votes. If you do that, you could be winning one of these. This is the Balearic Beach Session, remixed by a good friend of mine and a very tasty chill-out DJ. Well, he's more than that, really. Mr. John Satrincha, often seen DJing without his clothes on, but we won't talk about that right now. That is all we've got time for this week. Thanks to all our guests, thanks to all our musical contributors. From me, Pete Tong, I'll be back in 7 days' time to do it all again. See ya.